a lot of your colleagues are talking about calling for the prosecution of Babangida over the June 12 poll.
Okay.
Go on, please.
Yes, well, when a matter, happens like this, there are bound to be reactions and the expression of public opinions on such a vexed issue. But I reckon that why you calling for my view this morning is to offer a legal perspective.
Yes.
Now, the way I see is that by its publication, retired military president Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida has now in writing, made a declaration, or for the purpose of our argument, the election was not only free and fair, but also that it was won by MQ Abiola. Now, for our colleagues calling for the prosecution of General Babangida for that annulment, what will he be prosecuted for?
Okay.
What will he be prosecuted for? And how will he be prosecuted? A person could have done something very egregious, very condemnable, very, immoral, and something that acquires the semblance of criminality. It is true that the Transition to Civil Rule program and decree underpinning it at that time had a provision somewhere there that anybody that attempted to subvert the transition program or derail it will be guilty of an offense.
Yeah.
Indeed, under the provisions of that decree governing the transition to civil rule program, an election was not supposed to be truncated or stopped by any court order or law. But recall that this occurred over 30-something years ago. And at that time, the administration that actually subverted it, that breached its own law, the provisions of its own decree, that administration was in the saddle and succeeded by a brute of a successor. First, there was an interim national government, and then there was an Abacha regime. Ultimately, there was Abu Salami who governed and then, organized another transition. Now, going back in time to call for the prosecution is not, say it clearly, legally feasible. We can be angry. We can be very angry about what, and I think that everybody is righteously angry. There's righteous indignation at what Babangida did. But I don't think it's legally feasible. And I'm not saying that there's a bar to prosecution for crimes. For example, if in that book, General Ibrahim Babangida retired had come out to say, oh yes, this redo of Delegiwa, and I'm saying this in a nuanced manner, this redo of Delegiwa, I want to solve the redo now. I was the one who organized his elimination. To be clear, he never made that confession. He didn't say that. But if he were to say that, of course, you say, now Daniel has come to judgment, he has confessed, so the next thing is that the Nigerian state should attempt a prosecution. If those who killed Bola Ige, for example, came forward and say, oh yes, some people have been prosecuted, but this is what happened. We are the one responsible. This is how we did it. And it's not a stunt. Of course, everybody will be calling for prosecution and they can rightly be prosecuted for that. So To that extent, you can say that there is no time bar, there is no statute of limitation regarding that kind of horrendous criminality. Yes, we can say that. But for this, annulment of an election in breach of the transition to civil rule program and decree that he made in respect thereof, now under the 1999 Constitution as many times amended. I don't see the legal feasibility for that kind of thing.
Okay, your colleague, Mr. Femi Falana, he told he was on TV, I think it was last night. He says that he wants to challenge the malicious prosecution he and his colleagues faced during the military regime. Okay, and says he would take legal action against the former military ruler for his role in numerous violations of fundamental human rights. Do you think it's worth it?
Well, let me do a brief. Mr. Femi Falana was an advocate of Nigeria. It's not just my colleague. He was once my principal, and I was once his deputy head of chambers. Apart from that, he's my comrade at arms, work together in the civil rights movement. I respect his opinion a lot. I respect his decision a lot. Now, I answer your question this way. In civil procedure, there's something we call statute of limitation.
Yes.
Which limits the time within which you can come to ventilate your grievances, by going to court in respect of civil wrongs that are done to you. Malicious prosecution is a civil wrong, albeit it could have derived from a criminal proceeding, because you must have been maliciously prosecuted first before you can then come forward to file a civil action in respect of that malicious prosecution. So prosecution is a criminal proceeding, but suing for malicious prosecution is a civil proceeding. And so, because it's a civil wrong. And so, there's a time within which you can ventilate that grievances. But I watched that interview. What he said was that, General Babangida has now, in his book, made certain confession, and that appears to have breathed life into that course of action, if I understood him correctly. So if he decides to go to court, it will be worth it. A lawyer makes a decision to go to court. He's not supposed to go to court for the purpose of inviting the court to adjudicate on a purely academic question. But, you hear it a lot being said these days, that lawyers also go to court to test the law.
Yeah.
To test the frontiers, to grow the rule of law, to invite the court to adjudicate on a wrong as perceived by them. And truly speaking, the horrendous human rights violations that were perpetrated by the military, including Abacha, all those wrongs, all those violations have not been properly redressed till today. And it will be worth it for
Jiti, we have to round up.
The test case for that kind of litigation to be instituted.
Okay, Jiti, we have to round up. Thank you very much for your submission. It's a pity. Yeah. I wish I could keep you for 1 hour, but all this money that you make, I don't want to be the one who will hinder you from making it. I'm sure you are doing court anytime from now. God bless you, my friend.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. So that was Jiti Ogunye.